Welcome to the Carbonite Jedi, where the Force will be with you always. Today I'm going to be talking about an article in Star Wars Net.com. Okay, Star Wars Net.com that talks about Bob Iger talking about pulling back on Star Wars and Marvel. So if a lot of you don't know about the SAG strike, it's in effect right now. There are no actors allowed to do anything. Anybody who's a SAG member in that union is not allowed to do anything, basically. They're on strike. So this article, let me pull it up for you. There we go. So we see Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy. It says, Bob Iger says they are pulling back on Star Wars and Marvel, examining the content and why he was probably talking primarily about Marvel. I don't know. On Thursday morning, shortly after the Actors Union announced that they would be going on strike after the studios failed to meet their demands to sign a new contract that would adapt to the current business model adopted by those very companies, Disney CEO Bob Iger appeared on CNBC to speak about the present and future of the company. In that interview, Iger made some comments about a possible slowdown in Star Wars content. Let us examine his remarks in a larger context. Iger was asked if Disney would be pulling back on Marvel and Star Wars, to which he immediately replied, yes. You pull back not just to focus, but it's also part of our cost containment initiative, spending less. Spending less on what we make and making less. Well, apparently they're doing something right with these shows because, The Mandalorian got 9 Emmy nominations, Andor got 8, and Obi-Wan got 5. So it must be stressed then that because it was a dual question, it's possible that Iger was speaking in broad terms and specifically more about Marvel. Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige has already said they will be spacing out their releases and rethinking their overall strategy, so everything seems to be on the same page there. As far as Star Wars goes, this doesn't come exactly as a surprise either, but the situation is a bit different than Marvel's. There's Ahsoka. Earlier this year, Iger said that to maximize the revenue, Disney would be doubling down on franchises, but prioritizing quality over quantity. Okay, that sounds good. Marvel and Star Wars tend to be put together here because of their similar contribution to the company, at least when they are both in good shape. However, Star Wars hasn't put out a movie in theaters since December 2019, and we have 3 more years to go before the next one. Crazy. Which Iger has said before that they will be making sure it's the right one. I sure hope so. I'm surprised Kathleen Kennedy isn't spouting off on this. So is Disney going to be cutting down on Star Wars? Let's look at the overall situation. In that same interview, Iger also talked about how Marvel's increase in the number of movies and television series over the past few years diluted focus and attention. Yeah, I've talked to some big Marvel fans, and they've said that also. It is for this reason that Iger's comments above probably refer to Marvel more so than Star Wars, but Lucasfilm is likely going to be affected in the same way to prevent the same results. It is also for this reason that it sounds like Iger refers to Disney Plus series more so than the movies, as Star Wars has been out of the theatrical business for a bit. And yet, when we look at the current state of the franchise, this doesn't come exactly as a surprise. What do we know is coming out next? Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, and the Acolyte. Comment below on which one you would prefer to see. I know I want to see Ahsoka and Acolyte. Not so sure about Skeleton Crew, but I'll still watch it. And maybe it'll surprise me. Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, and the Acolyte have all wrapped filming, meaning most of the money from these budgets has either been spent already or is already allocated to be spent in post-production. In a similar way, Andor has less than 2 months left of filming. So that means that they're not going to get to film anything until the SAG strike's over. It's unknown yet how the SAG-AFTRA strike will affect it, given how other UK productions are allowed to continue filming. But we know that is also in very good shape. That wraps it up for the rest of 2003 and 2004, but then what? 2025 at this point is pretty much empty. The Mandalorian Season 4 was going to start filming this fall, but that is likely to be pushed back indefinitely. We know that the second season of Ahsoka and the Acolyte have been mapped out but not greenlit yet, so we wouldn't be getting those until late 2025, 2026 at the earliest. Animated shows in development include The Bad Batch Season 3 and Tales of the Jedi Season 2, both of which are slated for 2024, though the latter could be pushed back because of the SAG-AFTRA strike. Of course, this doesn't mean that Lucasfilm is not developing other series. A live-action Lando series and an animated adventure film called A Droid Story were announced over 3.5 years ago, and they seem dead in the water. Reports earlier this year pointed out Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni developing a new series codenamed Ghost Track 17, which could either be The Mandalorian Season 4, another New Republic era-based series, or just pure fantasy. But the fact that no new series were announced during Star Wars Celebration, with Lucasfilm knowing it would be 2 years without another convention, sort of already hinted that they may be looking at spacing out their Disney Plus pipeline and perhaps even focus more on the movies. Because on the feature film side, though, we know they are cooking a lot. They announced 3 films in development at Celebration and just recently set 3 dates on the theatrical calendar for 2026 and 2027. That is a long way away. On top of that, we know that Taika Waititi and Sean Levy are also developing their own projects. All this combined tells us that Iger was probably referring to slowing down on Disney Plus Star Wars series as they look to get back into the movie business, which was always the most profitable side for them and what actually makes sense for the company. Cutting down on the number of projects isn't the only measure that Disney will be implementing. They're also re-examining the budgets, which is extremely necessary. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny's budget was, according to reports, around the $300 million figure. Disney will fall way behind in turning a profit on that movie. Similarly, it was mentioned in a recent story by The Hollywood Reporter that Andor cost $250 million. This is a completely unrealistic budget, and no matter how many views or Emmy nominations the show would get, Disney Plus is simply not getting it back. This speaks to the larger issue of the economics of streaming, which is at the same time part of why the streaming bubble is about to burst, which much quicker than anyone anticipated at the studios. Skeleton Crew, a series led by 4 unknown kids, reportedly cost $136 million. No wonder they're cutting down on budgets. And you can check out the section of the interview where Iger talks about Marvel and Star Wars slowing down their output here at the bottom of this article. I find it very, very interesting that they're doing this. I always thought that the more Disney Plus shows that they make, the more diluted the Star Wars universe might become, because it seemed like they're putting out more quantity than quality. They need to get back on track doing the movies. Like they said, they haven't had a movie out since The Rise of Skywalker in 2019. And I know a lot of Star Wars fans that are chomping at the bit to see a new Star Wars movie. But Bob Iger said that they're going to try to do it the right way, and hopefully they will, with all these rumors of Kathleen Kennedy being fired. Maybe they can get George Lucas or somebody in there to do it up right. I don't know. Also, the rumors that George Lucas might be looking to buy Lucasfilm and Star Wars back is out there too, so we'll just have to wait and see. But I mean, we have to wait till 2026 and 2027 before some of the movies come out. That's just craziness. That's what, 4 or 5 years away. So I support the SAG actors and their strike. I hope they are able to resolve it fairly soon, and I hope we can get back to just having fun and enjoying movies that are quality movies from Marvel and Star Wars, mainly Star Wars. Anyway, that's it for this video. Come back and join me for more Star Wars and sci-fi content. I might be doing a Black Series unboxing here pretty soon. And also on the 20th, I confirmed with Roger Christian, I'm going to be doing an interview with him. I asked him about if the SAG strike was going to affect him, and he assured me it wasn't. So I will be talking with him in 6 days. If you don't know, Roger Christian was the set director for Star Wars and the art director for Alien. And he will be on my show, and we'll be talking about Star Wars and Alien mainly, and some of the other things that happened is happening in his career. But yeah, I'm so excited. So come join me. And anyway, like I said, this is it for this video. I hope you found it interesting, and have a great weekend or week wherever you are. And may the Force be with you always.